Yoo-hoo, welcome back. Today I'm taking you to a big city with a big reputation for beautiful sandy beaches on the North Sea and home to the International Court of Justice. We will be spending the next 2 episodes in The Hague. Today we have plenty of must-see activities planned, plus a unique visit inside a United Nations courtroom. Yeah, we've got a lot to see. Let's get started. The flight from London to Amsterdam is very brief, assuming there aren't any delays, and be warned, there are plenty of those at the moment. After one of us had a quick chat with the pilot to ensure that our safety was in good hands, we spent just enough time in the air for a quick snack and landed safe and sound in Schiphol Airport. I do not speak Dutch. My pronunciation woes continue. My first impression of The Hague is that it is very green. There are tulips nearly everywhere, which doesn't really come as a surprise. It also seems like a really great place for my younger family members to grow up. There's so much outdoor space and room for activities, and yet somehow we still ended up doing this. There we go.
It took us about a couple hours.
It took us a couple hours, yeah.
A couple hours? We spent nearly 4 hours building this masterpiece.
But we done it.
We did do it.
We also realized how sad leftover Lego pieces look after construction.
1,788 pieces.
At this point, I'm feeling pretty ready to get out there and explore the city center. Starting things off the way we usually do. I have no idea where I'm going. All I know is I need to catch a bus. We're gonna explore. Yeah, let's go. Similar to other parts of the Netherlands, people have been living in the area that we know as The Hague for thousands of years. The birth of this place can be traced back to the 13th century when Count Floris IV of Holland purchased this land the city currently sits on as hunting grounds. After his death, his son William II wanted to build a palace and expand the grounds, but he died before construction was complete. Tale as old as time. The buildings he left behind eventually evolved into what is now known as the Binnenhof. Similar to Parliament, it's the heart of the Dutch government. The courtyard was made large enough to allow for big groups of citizens to gather for public events, including public executions. Visitors like us can walk through freely, usually from one side to the other when construction isn't underway, but it's still worth a visit. I'll be honest, I knew very little about this city before I visited, and now I know just a little. Spending some time along Het Plein, which I believe translates to the square, doesn't only give you those European city square vibes, but there's also an excellent overview of The Hague's history along the west side of the square. Mauritshuis is another must-see location packed with Dutch culture and history. Built between 1633 and 1644, it was formerly the residence of John Mauritshuis of Nassau, governor of the Brazilian Dutch colony. The grand palace-like home was taken over by the Royal Picture Gallery, a collection of nearly 800 works of art in 1822. There are a lot of gems inside this recently restored museum. Most notably and advertised is the Girl with Pearl Earrings by Vermeer. It's one of those paintings that it hits different when you see it in person. Back out into the world we go. I'm just trying to follow the signs. Still don't understand Dutch. Which is fine, because the majority of residents here also speak English, which is convenient when you want to do a bit of shopping. Or, in my case, window shopping in the famous De Passage. It's the oldest covered shopping arcade in the Netherlands to survive World War II. It's been here for 135 years and is well worth a detour. I've decided that wandering through new cities is my new favorite thing. Yep, and so is Dutch apple cake. I came to Pistache Café for the beautiful location, cozy interior, and the 4.3 Google star rated coffee. What I didn't expect to have was this kind of life-changing cake eating experience. Maybe you're supposed to pour the sauce over top. Cozy cafe experience acquired, we then set out onto the streets of The Hague in search of the royal palace. During this time, I quickly come to realize that there is a marked difference between the terms cafe and coffee shop. Although both may sell coffee, one may come with an optional side of flowers, if you catch my drift. I think this is the side of the palace. No, it's the back. I really can't be sure. We're definitely looking at the back end corner of the palace. There it is, Paleis Noordeinde. I believe I found it. Yes, you did. This has been the palace of the royal house since 1609 and is the working palace of the current Dutch monarch. Day 2 of city exploration started off with basketball and a couple games of horse. This is what I've been doing in The Hague. Don't let the editing fool you. I have nearly zero hand-eye coordination. Just ask Eric. Ran these guys through a longer than pictured running and burpee workout. Nearly didn't make it. That was good.
Yeah, we done?
How do you feel?
Good. Tired.
Tired? How do you feel?
I feel good. I'm like I accomplished the goal.
That's good. That's the idea.
Whoa. I don't know any water anymore.
High five. And after a quick visit with the neighborhood goose family, she's warning them, we should just stay calm. As if she can sense our false intentions. Oh boy, Dad's here. It was then time to set out for the Peace Palace. Owned by the Carnegie Foundation, the Peace Palace houses the Permanent Court of Arbitration, the United Nations International Court of Justice, the Hague Academy of International Law, and the largest library in the field of international law and peace. Following the first Hague Peace Conference, during which 26 countries participated, the Permanent Court of Arbitration was established. It was in 1907, during the second Hague Peace Conference that included 44 countries, that the first stones of the Peace Palace were laid. The World Peace Flame aims to remind us of and reignite the decades-old dream of world peace. If you do visit, I recommend taking a moment to find the stones that represent your home countries, where you live, and that of those who may be in need of our compassion and support. I wasn't able to fit in a guided tour this time around, but it's certainly on the list for next time. So, The Hague loves peace, flowers, and a laid-back lifestyle. Sort of giving me like sophisticated hippie vibes. Don't be mad, it's a compliment. We are nearing the end of this episode, and I have yet to deliver on one promise. This is the United Nations International Residual Mechanism for Criminal Tribunals. Yes, I read that directly from my notes. It's a bit of a mouthful. Stick with me. The IRMCT only just started welcoming visitors back after easing COVID restrictions, and we have been invited inside to see one of their courtrooms. To be clear, this is not the International Criminal Court or the International Court of Justice, which you'll recall is inside the Peace Palace. This is one of the courtrooms inside the Hague branch where the IRMCT continues the work of the two United Nations courts that were established in the 1990s. These courts have successfully prosecuted presidents, prime ministers, military commanders, business and media personnel, and religious leaders for their roles in crimes committed during the wars that took place in the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda. If you follow international law or war crimes tribunals, you may recognize this as the courtroom where Slobodan Praljak, convicted of crimes against humanity in 2013, consumed potassium cyanide after hearing that his appeal had been rejected in 2017. This is where the judges sit. This is me. And this is the gallery where members of the public, like us, can observe public hearings. Pretty cool. Aside from apple cake, I really couldn't tell you what my favorite part was. What was yours? There was a lot packed into this episode, and even more coming up next week. Eric shows up for a Dutch adventure with a completely different vibe, filled with dune climbing. What? Oh my gosh. Guys, Look at, get a load of this. The most beautiful spring garden in the world, and a questionably treacherous bike ride. We are not going in a straight line. It's gonna be a fun one. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you then.